Hi, this is Brad from Pro Wrestling Junkies, and welcome to another episode of Toilet Side Wrestling Talk. Today's guest hails from the great state of Pennsylvania, began wrestling in 2008, was trained by Eddie Valentine and Rob Noxious, has worked for such promotions as Classic Championship Wrestling, Atomic Championship Wrestling, Southern Fried Championship Wrestling, AEW, and of course Southern Honor Wrestling. Shared the ring with the likes of Ryan Sawyer, The Rockin' Rebel, Shannon Moore, Sean Spears, Jimmy Havoc, Orange Cassidy, Tommy Dreamer, to name a few. He's a video editor for AEW as well as DDP Yoga, and has also been the video editor for I'm Too Old for This Shit, a heavy metal fairy tale, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake, and Before the Bell, the story of AEW. He's the booker, producer, and part owner of Southern Honor Wrestling. You can check out his most recent match over on IWTV. That's Southern Honor 23. It's a tables match versus Austin Towers, opens the show. And he has a match on Southern Honor 24, and that should be up on IWTV relatively soon. So let's welcome today's guest, someone who's in Jacksonville now, but let's just assume he's not fleeing from where he came from. I give you Sunny Daze. Dylan, how are you?
What's going on? How are you? I haven't seen some of those clips in a long time.
Oh, okay, good. So
Yeah.
do you remember each of those clips, like the matches?
Yeah, I mean, well, the first clip was early on in the development of that character. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa. I forgot how far I've come. So
Do you remember like your early matches? Do you remember all of them? Like, could you like tell me I wrestled this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy?
I don't know about all of them.
Okay.
But I mean, I remember some key ones because I wasn't always Sunny Daze.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember some early matches in my career, and then significant ones like working with like Nikolai Volkov and Shane Douglas and a couple of those. So those were like big moments for me, you know.
Oh yeah, I bet. I mean, just meeting those people as a
Sure.
regardless of even wrestling them, is something really cool and a big
Right.
deal. So you've been driving today. You said, and you're now in Jacksonville. You
Yep.
weren't fleeing where you were coming from, were you?
No.
No.
But some other people are hitting some bad weather elsewhere.
That's what I was going to ask
in,
you.
Nashville and some other places that I know people are coming from.
Is it causing like big delays?
Yeah, I know a lot of flights were canceled, so I know a lot of people had to like rent a car and start driving. So.
And
like
where
to
were
drive
you
with my
coming
own.
from?
I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
So it's about a
How long-
5-hour drive. It's not too far.
Oh, okay. And do you make the trip regularly?
So I travel with AEW, but I usually travel around the pay-per-views.
Okay.
I'm a video editor.
Yes.
So I travel around pay-per-view times, getting ready for the countdown specials that usually air before the pay-per-views. I help produce those and then also go home and edit them. So pay-per-view time's always exciting because I get to be on the road and it's fun to see everyone after not being on the road all the time. So.
Sure. May I ask a question related?
Mm-hmm.
Are you married or have a significant other?
Oh, I have a girlfriend, but
Okay.
I'm not married or nothing.
Okay. So when you say it's fun to go, around pay-per-view time, go on the road, does your girlfriend come with you?
No, I usually travel alone.
Now, is part of the excitement being able to get away from her?
What is that?
It's the truth. I feel the same way. Like there's times like I'll have weekends planned a year out, and the main thing is to get away from my wife.
I enjoy being alone sometimes. I enjoy getting on the road. But I think the biggest thing about coming here is connecting with all the boys and working. And I mean, I love my job. I mean, it's the dream job that I can never have predicted. So,
Okay.
but to be around, guys. I mean, some of my favorite guys on the road are like Tully Blanchard, and I work a lot with Cody, and so to get to be around those guys and be creative, and then also see what they're developing and being on the ground floor for all of this. So it's been exciting.
Is there an element of like, oh, these are my buddies, I get to go hang out with my friends?
Well, what's cool is because for a long time I was just I know I've been able to separate being a wrestler from being a fan, but
Sure.
I've also always been a fan. So I used to go to autograph signings and do all these things, and I joke with my mom and my dad that think about how much money we would have saved if I knew where my life would have headed.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, I've been very blessed when it comes to those things, and now to be able to work with them and then be creative with them and all those things is really cool.
So okay, let's go back in time. Well after your parents first met. As a kid, what were your interests? Was wrestling like on your radar as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, wrestling was probably my only interest.
Mm-hmm.
Professional wrestling and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, I tell everyone, like, when I talk about being a kid, I don't have a first memory of professional wrestling. I just remember it. Like, there's not one specific moment like, oh, I got connected here or there. So, I've been probably watching since I was 2 years old, and it was just always, and I mean, I was obsessed with.
Did you have any siblings, or were your parents?
Yeah, I got a baby sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she didn't get you into it.
No. I think. So I was born in '91, and I think Raw came on the air around '92 or '93.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure.
I think it was just one of those things where, like, that was new to TV, and my dad would just watch wrestling. So I think I just watched it with him, and then.
Did you have a good relationship with your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's great. You're lucky that you have like this, a good relationship with your dad, and you guys got to watch wrestling together.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, my parents have been so significant in my life, obviously, and I've been so blessed with supportive parents, and my dad wasn't like as into it as I would become.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just a casual thing that I ended up just getting hooked with and becoming obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of got, sorry, my camera keeps slipping.
Sure.
He kind of got out of it when I got older, and
okay.
But like I said, I was just always obsessed. And there was times like I remember in second grade, second grade, I would go around and tell everyone to suck it. So for a long time, I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling, but I would sneak into my mom's bedroom because my parents ended up divorcing.
Okay.
So I was sneaking into my mom's bedroom and I'd watch TV, and then if I made my sister mad, she would yell, "Mom, Dylan's watching wrestling." I would change the channel, and eventually it became too much for my mom to even control. So
yeah.
And then the fun thing would be to go to Daze and watch wrestling the whole time because it'd just be a little fun little jab at my mom. So
for sure.
those
totally.
That's what that relationship was.
It's the psychology between the divorced parents.
Now we're gonna do the opposite of whatever.
Yeah, totally.
But
go to bed at 7 o'clock? That's crazy. You're going to bed at midnight.
My dad's favorite thing to say was, "What's she gonna do? Kick me out?" So
yeah, totally.
that was always the go-to. So,
as a kid, were you athletic at all?
I mean, I played football, but I always grew up heavy.
Okay.
I mean, I've battled weight my entire life, up and down.
Is that
So
something that was uh, like a concern of yours,
it was a
or like
concern. It
you're
was
just fine with?
concern of my mom, for
Okay,
sure. Um, but it was one of those things that we can never control. And I know we're kind of going out of order, but
sure,
from what you and I had talked about before we started, but
no worries.
that's where the connection with Dallas DDP came in, because when I was 15 years old and I was 292 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And for my 16th birthday, I wanted to go to my first real convention, autograph convention, and Dallas was there.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was looking up pictures of Dallas to get
Was
autograph.
was this in Pennsylvania?
I lived in Pennsylvania, but the convention was in New Jersey.
Okay.
So we were planning a trip to do this.
Mhm.
I think it was called Legends of the Ring Convention.
Okay.
And so I was looking for these pictures, and I found this like it was called Yoga for Regular Guys,
Uh-huh.
and it was the YRG, DDP's YRG. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I tried to get my mom to do it, and or get me the program. So
Okay.
she ended up messaging, or she got an automated message, which I thought was an automated message,
Mm-hmm.
from Diamond Dallas Page after we ordered the program, just thanking us. But the company was so small back then. I mean, there was probably less than 50 people doing the program.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
she replied with a whole thing about me and him, and trying to get him to inspire me and stuff. And they ended up exchanging emails. And I remember the first time she told me that she emailed him, I was like, "You're wasting your time." Like,
Yeah.
it's like, this is crazy. Like, how dumb, how embarrassing.
Some administrators could be writing you back as DDP.
Like, yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, that email changed my life. And we ended up talking on the phone. I met him at the convention. I worked out with him, and that's kind of where the other stuff in my wrestling career and my life took off.
Would you say that was the greatest gift your mom ever gave you?
That email, I mean, the email changed my life forever.
Yeah.
Because I got hooked up with Dallas when I was 16. I lost 100 pounds in 10 months doing the
Wait,
program.
is that healthy though?
Yeah,
To lose that much weight?
The way I did it, I believe so.
Okay.
When I was a kid. I mean, because I was so young. I mean, I was only 15, or I just turned 16 when I hit the 100-pound mark, and so, but I was.
Were people shocked?
Yeah, it was cool because I did a lot of it during the summer, so I was so big.
Oh.
I lost a lot of it over the early on. So like 30 pounds in the first month and stuff. So like over the summer, I mean, I was doing double workouts and stuff. But like when I went back to school, that was a pretty cool reaction to get.
Oh my God, I bet.
Yeah.
Most people would kill for like a moment like that,
Yeah.
To come back and I'll show you guys.
One of my biggest regrets was not trying out for the football team again and stuff, because and you don't realize it until you're older, but like those are like the things you'd never get back, like those opportunities, like high school football. And like that's probably one of the things I regret is not experiencing high school football like I did, because I mean, when I originally tried out, I was so big that the doctors suggested that I'd stop playing, and I was allergic to like the grasses and stuff on the field. And I was. Did
you like playing?
Yeah, I mean, I liked playing football, but I mean, I would get so winded and everything else, and I was always the last guy doing the laps and everything else. So it probably wasn't healthy for me, especially in the heat and stuff of high school football. So I ended up being a high school trainer. Like I would just help with the for the first year, and then, but like I said, I wish I came back and I wish I had played.
Yeah. But my thing is, if you're happy where you are right now, all of that other stuff that it takes to get to this point was worth it. So maybe maybe something made up for that.
Yeah, and like if you wrote out my life, you would think it was meant to play like a book. And I'm very happy and thankful for those experiences, because ever since then my weight has been up and down.
Okay.
And, even earlier this year, I was close to 400 pounds.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I was ready to quit wrestling because my weight was so bad this year, or last year.
Yeah.
And then over the last couple months, I've lost about 60 pounds, and
Oh my God.
Sunny Daze even main evented the last Southern Honor show. So
Yeah. So was it 24?
yeah, SHW 24. So it
Yeah.
felt good. It felt good to be back in the ring.
While that's on my mind, so that one's not on IWTV yet.
It just came out today.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay, perfect. Because your ladder match at the last show, excuse me, the tables match at your last show,
right, yeah,
was really good. Okay, so you're 16, 17 years old. You dropped a ton of weight. Did that play into you becoming a wrestler? Wanting to train to become a pro wrestler?
Yeah. When I finished up, or when I got to that point, I started training with Steve Carino and Ricky Reyes for a little bit.
How did you come into contact with them?
Carino was starting a dojo,
okay.
And it was like an hour from from where I lived, or an hour and a half.
Okay.
So that's where I got the connection, and DDP put in a phone call for me and stuff. So that's where it started. But then that only lasted a little while because it was hard to get there because I was, I wasn't driving yet, and I was still in high school, and
that's 2 hours of every day just traveling.
Yeah, and my mom, it was just hard for my mom to continue to get off work, and so that ended up falling through, and I found something closer to where I lived, and then I ended up being trained by Eddie Valentine. Of VD. I don't remember if you remember the tag team in CZW.
Oh yeah, of course.
Eddie Valentine and John Dahmer.
And did Rob Noxious train you as well?
So then after that, he taught me a lot.
Okay.
But I trained at the Mark Mess dojo in Pennsylvania, and then I got connected with Rob, and Rob became one of my best friends, and then
cool.
We kind of just became business partners and stuff, running shows in Pennsylvania. And
so tell me if this is incorrect. You've lost this weight. I assume that gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So did you think that you were going to be ready for this, train to be a wrestler, or was it still a shock to your system, like physically?
No, I think my body adapted pretty well to pro wrestling, especially early on, because when I started to have so I got into wrestling and so I don't remember very many issues at that point.
Okay.
When it came to my body or anything, it was when I started gaining so much weight, and I gained 160 pounds back after I lost that first 100.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm back up to 360, and I'm trying to wrestle like I was when I was 292.
Is it difficult?
Yeah, it was a lot of 192. So but yeah, it was a lot of weight to carry around, and a lot of times I take pride on, if I'm going to be a big wrestler, if I'm going to be that size, I want to be able to move like I wasn't that size. So
yeah.
And I would exert that energy a lot early on. Now I've learned how to adapt and stuff. But yeah, I remember now I look back at those matches, and I'm like, man, I should have never even been in the ring. Did
you say you were ready for your first match, or did somebody tell you you're ready for your first match?
No, the first promotion I wrestled for was World Professional Wrestling in Reading, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And it was ran by Pinky the Flamingo Kid. And I remember that was the first indie show that I ever saw when I was 7 years old. So
you went to live?
Yeah, it was it was in a skating rink.
Was this your dad took you?
No, actually my mom.
Wow.
My mom moved us out of town, and
okay.
I remember, I guess I was a little bit probably older, like 8 or 9. So,
okay.
But I ran into the gas station to pay for my mom's gas when she was pumping gas. It was a small gas station, but those little things that at that age you want to do for your
for sure,
for your
for
parents.
sure.
But anyways, but I go in there and this guy's talking. He's got this jacket on. He's talking about this cage match, and my mom's like, "What is going on? Like, why is it taking forever for him to come out?" So she comes in. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just listening to this guy talk about wrestling.
Oh,
So,
wow.
I'm like, I think he's a wrestler, and then he ended up being a wrestler, and I got connected with that, and I got
that's really
connected with
cool.
him. I'm sorry.
Have your parents seen your matches?
Yeah, they're my biggest supporters.
Are they still up? Are they still in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, they're in Pennsylvania. So
okay. Did you buy them IWTV?
What's that?
Did you buy them IWTV?
No. I send them my stuff though.
Oh, okay, cool.
But or they come down to watch. But we used to run in Lewistown, Pennsylvania, Central PA Wrestling, CPW, and that was kind of so I bought into WPW, which eventually when I was older, and things just didn't work out. So then I started running my own shows. CPW and in Lewistown, Pennsylvania, and that was mostly a family thing. I mean, my mom and I would go out and fly her, and my dad would, my mom and dad ended up being pretty good friends.
Okay.
So
that's great.
Yeah, it was a huge blessing. So, but I mean, my grandparents would run the concessions, and it was a real like family thing.
Oh, that's really cool. And so were you like contacting wrestlers and booking them?
Like, Pennsylvania is kind of different. You know, it's funny to me. Like everyone's like, I want to wrestle up north from when down here in the south.
Yeah.
But and then the same things. Oh, I want to wrestle down south. That's what the people up north say. So, but it's funny, like you kind of get in these cliques, especially in Pennsylvania, where all the all the wrestlers are kind of the same, and they all kind of work on the same shows, just different areas. So it was more like a close knit family than it is down here in like Georgia.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, finding wrestlers and stuff wasn't really hard to do. So I would just book. Back then, I wasn't telling as many stories as I've learned to tell over the years. But But yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was fun just because it was a family thing.
Stressful at all?
What's that?
Stressful at all?
It was. Yeah, it was always stressful because we got stuck in this. I don't want to say it's a problem, but we would book a name every show.
Okay.
So as a draw, so you're always kind of worried about covering that cost and then paying your wrestlers, and then in Pennsylvania you have to pay for the building and the insurance and all those things. So the overhead was so high. So that was always the stressful part.
What made you think you could run a show?
I think
prior to doing one.
I think the booking and the storytelling and running a show may have always been more interesting to me than actually wrestling myself.
Okay.
I don't know what it was. I remember my mom would tell me, like, I would play with my action figures, and she would, I would be gone for a couple hours downstairs in the basement, and she would come down, and there'd be like 2 wrestlers here, 2 wrestlers there, 4 wrestlers here, and they were all built out. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I gotta plan the show before you can't have the matches before you plan the show." So,
yeah.
So I guess I was kind of doing that as a kid.
Okay.
Like that. So I can't tell you what it was about it, but I think it was just kind of always in my blood to run shows. And then eventually Southern Honor came about, and
how'd you end up getting down there?
Yeah, so I gained all that weight back, and I got reconnected. Like that, DDP would call me and stuff, but I would kind of like not answer his phone calls anymore because I was embarrassed for
I imagine.
He just cared,
Like he wasn't angry. He just Caring.
I mean, he wasn't happy, but he was just he's more concerned than anything.
Sure.
So around this time, he was planning on bringing Jake the Snake in and start to help Jake.
Mm-hmm.
And he needed a video editor, and he gave 2 video editors like a project, me and some other guy.
Like a test?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And I didn't even do it. Like I didn't even complete it or anything. So the other guy moved in, and it wasn't until Scott Hall was coming in where I was like, Scott Hall was like one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. So like, I just sent him a text like, hey man, like I see what you're doing for Jake. Now Scott, like, you know.
Had you not communicated with him
I mean,
a lot up to that point?
We would a little bit, but it was definitely a strain on my part. So like it was more like me creating the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I sent that message to him about Scott coming in and stuff.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, if you lose, I think it was 20 pounds. I think it was 20 pounds in the next month. It might have been 30. I think it was 20 pounds. I'll move you to Atlanta. He said, I'll pay your rent and I'll pay you a little bit of money to learn how to edit. Because at that point, all I was doing was editing like wrestling highlight reels.
Okay.
And I wasn't even good at that.
Just for fun?
Yeah, I was more doing just Dallas's stuff. Like there's a video on YouTube called Diamond Cutters on Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a bunch of DVDs that had all these diamond cutters. And so I couldn't figure out how to rip them from DVDs. But I told him I was going to do this thing for him. And I mean, I was really young, probably 15 or 16. So I couldn't figure it out. So I took my little point and shoot camera and I would record all these diamond cutters off my computer screen. Then
with the camera?
With my camera, because it's funny because in some of them you can see my like reflection in the mirror.
Oh, really?
But then I put this video together for him, and he loved it. So that was kind of like the bare bones of getting into editing. And then I was coming here, and we weren't going to be editing wrestling videos all the time. We were going to be editing stories, inspirational stories, and what was going on with Jake and stuff. So when I moved here, I was primarily.
So you dropped that 30 pounds in the month?
Yeah. So I lost that weight, and he moved me down. And then, I just kind of kept learning. And it wasn't until I wouldn't say that I like really busted the walls of understanding how to tell a story and editing, become a better editor until we started doing the resurrection of Jake the Snake. And telling that story was easy for me because I lived it. You know, I had the good days with Jake. I had the really bad days with both of them, and Jake and Scott. And that journey was life-changing on its own behind the camera, like, when the cameras weren't on. So to be able to tell the story was a lot easier. And then I think I just became an editor out of that, to being able to really impact people with stories. And I learned that through Resurrection, and then a couple videos I've done for DP, like testimonials have gone viral. And I don't know if you ever seen that Mark Marrow video where he's talking to kids at the school and he's talking about his mom.
For sure.
I edited that video. So, and
it's really powerful.
It's got like 500 million views.
Oh my
if you add them all up from all the different places that are the ripped and everything. So, but those are things that kept motivating me to keep getting better. And
were you nervous to leave a home to move down to Atlanta?
Yeah, I needed pushed a little bit. And that was my mom. She really, my dad has his things he deals with, and I think leaving him was really hard. Or leaving that. I mean, I literally had no one here in Atlanta, so like all my family's in Pennsylvania. So leaving in general was hard.
And I assume you didn't have any friends down there.
Yeah, not really, no. And I mean, I think, but I was. so we were living in a really small town at
Mhm.
that point, and but I've always kind of been a city boy, and I always felt like Lewistown and the small town, like I wasn't able to spread my wings.
Okay.
So once my mom pushed me out the window, I was able to fly. So
That's what the good
um,
moms do.
yeah, it really is. So I've been
So,
very blessed when it comes to that, and then just opportunity after opportunity kept rising. So.
do you talk to your mom multiple times a week on the phone or text?
Well, yeah, we check in. I actually talk to my dad probably once or twice a week,
Oh, okay. All right,
but
good.
I bugged my mom enough, so I give her
Yeah,
I give
totally.
her space. She's done enough for
So
me. But.
you worked on the resurrection of Jake the
Mhm.
Snake. Have you at this point seen Southern Honor shows, or like how did you then get back into like the wrestling?
No, so um, I've always wanted to run a show in Atlanta,
Hmm.
and I was nervous because at that point there was so much to do. Like, and that's one of my favorite things about Georgia. I mean, I live 2 miles from the baseball stadium,
Oh
but then you
wow.
got the baseball stadium, you got concerts every weekend, you got all these events. So like to try to run your own event, you're like nervous because there's other options, and then
Yeah, yeah,
running in a really small town is easy, and drawing 500 people is easy because there's nothing else to do there.
yeah. You're not
So
competing for
to do it
anything.
in the big city, I was like, man, I want to do it, but I was always nervous. And then I got hooked up with Rich Ward, who is a band member of Fozzy with
Okay.
Jericho, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, hey, my pastor is running, or he wants to run. He's got this building. It has all this equipment into it. It's a church. It's kind of like a church, but it's not a church.
Okay.
I mean, they run church services out of there, but he wants to run wrestling shows out of there. He's like, there's a wrestling show that's there now, but they're not using the equipment correctly, and I know you're an editor and you want to do these
Mm-hmm.
things, and I'm like, yeah, and then the song Judas came out, and the music video went out, and Fozzy kind of blew up after that.
Yeah.
So Rich and I hadn't talked for a while, and it was about almost a year later we got reconnected, and he finally put me in connection with Gary Lamb, who's
Okay.
the promoter of Southern Honor, but there was no Southern Honor yet. So him and I met. We hit it off. We were gonna start it in 2019, but we're like, we can't wait. So we
Uh-huh.
ended up running in October. October of 2018 was our first show,
Okay.
and it was a huge success. We had about 250 or so.
Did
Um,
you know when you guys were first putting this together? Did you were you planning on wrestling yourself as well?
yeah, I was definitely planning on wrestling, but it was always that big picture of combining my like so. I knew I was never going to WWE. I'm 5'7". I've always battled weight, and whatnot. So I'm always been realistic with my wrestling career,
Mm-hmm.
and I really legit have done it just because I love to do it. And um, but I
Would you
always
wake up
wanted,
on the morning of a show being excited to wrestle later that day?
yeah, of course,
Okay.
yeah, but I've always wanted to combine production with wrestling, and I wanted to wrestle, but I also wanted to book, and I also wanted to run shows, and I wanted to do all my productions. So Gary gave me that platform. It had the video screens, it had the smoke, and all these things. And there was no pressure on me to be the one going out there and promoting like I used to have to. So I could focus on these things, and he can just make sure there's asses in the seats. And
Oh.
the partnership was a perfect match, and we continued just to build from that. I think going into our first show was October, and I had gone to All In a couple months
Mm-hmm.
prior, and I think All In was very inspiring to me.
Okay.
Um, Knowing that independent wrestling was on a rise and that they were able to do what they did. It's a funny story is My dad doesn't think it's funny, but I had tickets to All In Chicago.
Yeah.
And my dad moved his marriage to that same weekend, and it's his third marriage. So I said, I was like, I got tickets to this event. So I ended up still going to All In and missing his wedding. I told him I'd catch the next one. But,
oh my God, we could do a whole episode on that. Hold on. Let me talk about this for a minute. So, did you go to any of the meet and greets at like Pro Wrestling Tees that weekend?
Yeah.
I probably saw you. That's me and CM Punk from that.
Yeah.
So has this done long-term damage on your guys' relationship?
Oh no, not at all.
Okay, everything's.
I mean, he always jokes that I put wrestling first anyway, my whole life.
God.
So, which I might have. So.
Okay. Well, actually, it's funny. I have a question about that later on.
Yeah.
So when you're the booker,
mm-hmm.
Can you not book yourself to win a championship?
Yes.
Okay, you can't do it.
No, I
can't. You could?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm in Sunny Daze is in a championship thing right now, but I mean, my in an angle, but I've never held the title, and I don't want to say that. Sunny Daze has probably the worst win-loss record of anyone on Southern Honor.
Yeah.
But
you care if you win or win a championship?
No, I care about. I mean, there's been times where I thought I booked myself out of my own company because I didn't think I could keep up with the talent that I was starting to book. I care about. I always want to be the best, or try to be the best, or, and if that means I'm booking the best show, that's still the best. Or
sure.
Or I care about the wrestlers getting seen, and I care about the fans that buy a ticket. I mean, there's nothing more gratifying than someone buying a ticket for a product that you're putting on, and because I was that kid that was going to those shows, and I was the kid that was inspired by one guy that was talking about a cage match in a BP and at some gas station.
Yeah.
So like, and that conversation let me buy a ticket, and that me buying that ticket got me in love with professional or indie wrestling.
Wow.
Which would lead on to me becoming an indie wrestler. And I think the cycle is the same. Like, it's someone else's story is the same, but it just takes for that to buy that one ticket. Or I've seen how like just the joy, especially with Southern Honor. I mean, before the pandemic, we were drawing 500 to 600 people a show, and we got to do the Jericho Omega thing and those things. So like, I mean, the experiences have been so amazing, and at the end of the day, me going over in a match means nothing compared to those things. So it's hard to even book yourself in the championship angle. So
sure.
But yeah, that's how I really.
Do you ever have to like? Do people ever ask for favors?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean,
okay.
Like
they say, can you book me? Can someone come to you and say, I want to wrestle so and so?
Oh yeah, I mean, as long as it makes sense logistically and story wise. I had a lot of opportunities to wrestle names and stuff when I was first couple years in the business. So, and now that's a little hard. When I started Southern Honor, we didn't want to trap ourselves into what I did in Pennsylvania, where we had to book a name every time.
Yeah,
like I wanted to create Southern Honor stars, and people will argue that doesn't exist or that you can't make an indie guy draw and whatever. But I see our crowds every show, and I believe that they come to see our guys. So,
can you tell how many people are tuning in on IWTV? Do they have something like that? Or
I think they do. I don't really pay attention. It's funny we get in this talk all the time because there are other companies that rely on IWTV, and their fan base is IWTV.
Mm-hmm.
our fan base is the people that buy tickets to come to our shows. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm booking for them, and we have great production, and we just happen to be on IWTV.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think that's what makes us different than some of these other companies that are, you know, I can't say that we have the best in like we're not like fantasy booking like indie guys or any
Mm-hmm.
of that kind of stuff. Um, we're really have built up who we have and building stories for the people that, our stories are for the people that are buying tickets. So
Yeah.
a lot of indie shows these days, and there's different kind of indie shows too. Like I think Southern Honor is like a hybrid. Southern Honor is a hybrid of wrestling, and
Mm-hmm.
you got your wrestling, you got your indie wrestling shows that are just match for match. You know, false finish, flip, and all that, and
Yeah.
then you have your comedy shows and all those things. So I think Southern Honor is a mix of all that. You know, for so long. We were trying to be the best, and we won promotion of the year 2 years in a row for Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
but like, and I won Booker of the Year for 2 years, and Gary's won Promoter of the Year, and but I mean last year was, they can add the asterisk if they want to for the pandemic,
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For
it
sure.
at this point, like, we like decided like we don't want to keep getting in these pissing battles with everyone else. We want to have fun this year.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic really made it like it could all just be taken away in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I think that was the big realization coming out of the pandemic.
I think another one is like being able to appreciate other people and having interaction and relationships with other people as opposed to, we've been locked in our homes with,
Yeah.
2 or 3 people. So is all of this now just at Southern Honor at this point? Is all of this stressful? Like, as in, like, are you ever not working?
No, I'm always working, but I think
Okay.
it's because so we started Southern Honor, and we had big aspirations. We wanted to be the best. We wanted to do all the IWTV stuff. We wanted to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be the next Impact or Ring of Honor,
Sure,
all that
sure.
shit. Like that was the original goal. And then 3 months later, they do the AEW announcement, and DDP and Cody Rhodes are close, and Cody comes to shoot something at the PC, and I'm editing it, but it's just one thing, so
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not going to turn into anything. And what it develops into is the Road 2 series,
Uh-huh.
which is the Road to Double or Nothing. And I ended up editing every single one of those leading up to Double or Nothing, and the whole pay per
Now,
view was created or built on those videos, and
did
that was
you
amazing.
did DDP help hook you up with AEW?
Yeah, well, I think Cody came in because he was trying to sell our production crew to Cody a little bit, like, hey,
Okay.
let us help you out, because Dusty and Dallas had a huge connection.
Okay.
He was so important. Dusty was so important in the Dallas's career,
Mm-hmm.
so he would do anything for Cody, just out of that relationship.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So he was offering any resources. Hey, that Cody, come check this out. However we can help you, we will.
Uh-huh.
And then it turned into the Row 2 series.
Wow.
And by editing those videos, and like, I did all the Row 2 videos leading up to that pay-per-view. So the whole thing was kind of built on those edits and those videos.
Yeah.
But like, to build I got to be in the Battle Royal, the Double or Nothing, and that came out of me putting in so much work on the edits, and Cody rewarded me by having me in that match.
Oh, did you expect it?
No,
That was gonna happen? Oh, that's
I mean, I
awesome.
joked about it, but I would have never expected
Yeah.
it. And it was cool because like he did the announcement during the DDP Yoga summit, so all these DDP Yoga people were there, and Cody was just up there to say a couple words, and then he brought me on and had me and then told me there in front of Dallas and everything.
Oh, geez, that must have been
Yeah,
nice.
there's video of it actually because everyone was filming. But yeah, to have it happen in front of Dallas, and then they got video of me calling my mom afterwards, and it was pretty emotional, and telling her and stuff like that.
I imagine.
Yeah, it was such a blessing. But what I was saying was, what was even more rewarding than that was like, because every video package that played before each match at Double or Nothing, I did. So, but the one that happened before Cody and Dustin's match, building that story was one of my favorite things I've gotten to do, especially because of the match that they had to follow that up. I thought was really special because I mean AEW could have died that night, and it thrived, and to feel like I was part of the ground level was really special, and like I said, this was the dream job that I never could have dreamed of.
Yeah, I mean, because there's only X number of those positions in the world available.
And for a long time it was just WWE, right? So, and you never, you always put a ceiling on your dreams sometimes. So I think that's where it was, and then to fall into this was just amazing. And now
that's an amazing story.
I'm working on stuff with Sting and all these other guys, and I used to go to conventions. I mean, if you look at my Facebook, I have hundreds of pictures with wrestlers, and I got pictures with Sting in the black and white, in the red and black, and the red, white, and blue. So like, I've done the conventions and all that stuff, and I'm ashamed now that I'm older, but I've done the hotel thing and the airport thing. And
do you ever do you ever tell them that?
No.
Oh, that's the other thing. Do you have to be really good about not like becoming a fan?
I think I've always had that connection, like that disconnection of being a fan and not like, if someone said no, they don't want to take a picture, like, cool. Like, I'm not gonna like. There's people that'll freak out and stuff, like, but like, being around Dallas, I have learned to be cool about those things, and especially now, like, being here at AEW, like, I'm just another employee, and it's just cool to be around. I can consider Tully a friend, and those kinds of things. So, like,
could you just go to dinner with like Tully, for example?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I could do that. Like that. I mean, that's not even a thing anymore. So, I mean, the one that I did mark out I got a picture the other day that I haven't. I got a picture with Shaq. So that was
that's kind of cool. But that doesn't happen every day.
Experiences. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, two questions that come out of this. One is, are you doing work for Southern Honor and AEW and anything else all right now at the same time?
Yeah.
Is it hard to?
I think it's harder on my girlfriend than.
That was my next question.
I mean, if I could sit in front of a computer all day and edit stories, I will. So
yeah.
I think it's challenging for those, those kind of things. But I mean, if you're dreaming to be successful, you got to put the work in, and
she supports you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hard on her sometimes, but at the end of the day, like, this is what I've always ever wanted to do. So
okay.
I don't think, I think my dad said it the best, that I put wrestling in front of everyone else. So that can.
But you have to, right?
If you want to be like, it could villainize me a little bit, but like, when you want something so bad and you love something so bad, and you want to be successful and you want to be at the best, and I was talking to someone today. It's like, I can sleep and think of edits in my head, and so like I was driving in today, like I was driving home or to Jacksonville, and all I was thinking about was edits, and I had mentioned that to someone else that is working on something differently, but they were like, no, I know what you mean. I was like, yeah, I think that's how everyone that's hungry for success is. Like, your brain just doesn't stop, and you just want to be as good as you can be. And
Is it like a amazing amazing I forgot what I was about to say. Oh, this is what I'm going to say. Is it amazing to say to yourself, God, this is what I do? Like, do you love what you're doing and recognize you're like really lucky? Not saying that you're not talented, but like, as we were saying, there's only a certain amount of these positions.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's like, you know, I have people come up to me or people say to me like how good of an editor I am sometimes, or like they see something on AEW or the story or whatever, and I'm like, you kind of gotta like take 2 steps back to like appreciate it, like, or to realize that that's something you did, you know, and you know, I try to be humble, so like, sometimes to like accept those things or those comments is sometimes hard to do.
Sure.
Or it's just also like you just kind of forget. Like I'll watch a video, like I think that's one of the like things I try to do is, especially for like countdown specials, I'll watch it so many times to where I forgot that I edited it. So that's
really?
Well, like I try to, because that's where I try to. Because if I don't have any more critiques or notes or edits myself, then it'll be good to air on TNT. So I think that's where, and that was one of the things when I started AEW stuff. It was like I would just watch something. I'm like, would Vince put this out on their product?
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. You know, and then, you know, eventually I would start getting, you know, comments from, you know, Cody or someone, and that would reassure me that I was that case. So do
you ever get criticism?
Yeah, I mean, I get notes and things like that.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm proud to say, like, I haven't missed an edit by a ton. So
okay.
I think there was one edit that might have upset Cody about, like, I was just far off. So,
but you see, one of these things, you're never gonna make everyone happy.
Right.
Okay. Can I ask you a question about? This is non-wrestling related. I'm too old for this shit. A heavy metal fairy tale. What is this a documentary?
Yeah. I was only a part of the really early assembly of it. So the actual edit, I can't take credit for. Or anything.
Sure.
That was my buddy Nathan Mallory. He produced and edited that.
Okay.
Jericho. Well, Jericho produced it, but yeah, I mean that story. I had to watch it again since it's finished. I haven't had a chance to watch it since really early on. But But yeah, so to be a part of that was kind of cool in the beginning because I knew that, like, because I was a part of just like sorting through the footage, and I knew that Nathan had something special there, and I think it ended up being a really good documentary.
I'm going to let you go in a little bit. I want to ask you a question though. Do you have free time? I mean, I guess right now you could have.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I mean, but like, I don't like sitting. Like, I'd rather be like editing. Like, they say that you're never working if you love what you're doing, or something like that. And I think like most of my free time, I want to be editing.
Sure. So you always have like this creative outlet available for yourself.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, it's cool because, like, you know, I mean, right now we're really busy with the pay-per-view coming up and stuff. But, like, and sometimes there's a lot of pressure on, like, am I going to be able to get this done for Southern Honor?
Are there nights you don't sleep at all? You're working through the night?
I think so. I think coming up there will be. But there hasn't been lately. I remember on the road to Double or Nothing, the first one, there was a lot of 24-hour nights and sleepless nights. And we were, because I mean, that was before AEW was really taking off. So we were just building this thing from the ground, and so we were doing all the double road twos, and then you know, we did a TNT special that was going out, and it was kind of like the countdown. But we were trying to put that thing together, so it was like it was like a mini doc on this pay-per-view, and yeah, there was a lot of 24. I remember, you know, we joke about it, but like, I don't even really remember Double or Nothing because we were leading the week before Double or Nothing. We were trying to do all these videos and getting all the packages and stuff, and I was so exhausted, like, and to be part of the battle royal, like my nerves were already
Oh my God, I bet.
insane. So, yeah, it was an awesome experience. I wouldn't change it for the world, and but it was a lot of fun, and a lot of things that come out of that, like what we were talking about. I mentioned it, but like to be able to have like Chris Jericho show up to Southern Honor and Kenny Omega also show up to Southern Honor, but I mean Jericho's never done an indie show, like
that is amazing.
So like, and then also he attacked Sunday Daze, so like those are like the little things in my life that I'll never forget, but I'll never take for granted because and none of this happens if my mom never sent that email to Dallas. So
do you like thank her at least once a year?
Yeah, I mean,
for doing that
all the time. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Can I ask you 5 non-wrestling related random questions? And then I'll let you go off and go down to the hotel bar or somewhere near there. Go get some toothpaste. Okay. All right. So you're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there somebody in your immediate family, maybe we'll extend it a little bit, just we'll say family, that you love less than wrestling?
Love less than or more than?
Less than.
A
strange cousin, a foul uncle.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
Okay.
But I mean, there's no one more important to me than my mom, my dad, my sister, my niece and nephew.
But then beyond that,
then there's wrestling and everybody else.
Then it becomes gray.
Yeah.
Have you ever handed cash directly to a pimp?
To a pimp? Mm-hmm. No, it's usually a Venmo.
Okay. For $10,000, would you walk into a Target or Walmart right now without a mask?
Yeah. $10,000.
Okay. And you wouldn't be like people berating you and stuff.
So, I mean, we get all that heat for Southern Honor, so.
Okay. So it's nothing.
So like Southern Honor, like, look, I made it about wrestling. So what we did was, like, we were trying to decide how we were going to run these shows. Mm-hmm. And Canton's a real country town, so masks aren't preferred up there by many.
Wow!
But we wanted to give everyone an option to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So like we run our shows, like we put out 0 seats, but we have a giant building. I mean, for that Jericho building show, we had 1,000 people there.
Oh wow!
So when you buy a ticket, you buy a chair, and then you can sit wherever you want.
Oh, so you can space yourself away from people if you want?
Yeah, so if there is someone that's not wearing a mask or something, you just get away from them.
Just go, walk 10 steps to the left.
Yeah, we got a lot of heat for it, how we handle shows right now. But, I mean, our last show, we had over 400 people there. So
yeah. But it's like one of these things, it's like you're never going to make everybody happy.
I mean, it's one of those things, like, if you don't enjoy us, don't watch us or don't.
Yeah, exactly. Go somewhere else.
At the end of the day, if someone's buying a ticket, they know what they're going
to. Yeah, exactly.
They're making the choice to leave their house to go to a show, to enjoy a show.
Yeah, it's not like you're attracting 2-3-year-old kids. These are adults who make decisions.
We're not telling everyone that they're going to wear a mask and then they don't either.
Yeah.
Like, and people are still coming. Over 400 people there. So
that's amazing. Okay, we have 2 more questions. Mm-hmm. The 4th one is, can you name all of Rocky's opponents just in the first 4 Rocky movies? You don't have to do it if you think you could.
I can't.
All right, I'm going to answer it for you.
Thunderlip, right? Thunderlips?
Yeah, Thunderlips.
Mr. T.
Uh-huh.
Apollo.
Yeah.
And the Russian.
You got it. All right, Boom. Nice. You passed that one. Nice.
Don't know all the names, but I know.
And finally, do you know any Karens?
everyone that complains about Southern Honor not.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say. Totally. Dylan, thank you so much. This was great having you come on.
Did we even talk about sunny days? I think that was the goal. Was
yeah, we talked about wrestling at the beginning. Yeah, that's right. We never hit that. All right, well, I'm going to have you on again then.
Okay, I'd love to.
But thank you so much. Do you have anything going on, like work-wise, the rest of the day, or is?
Today's pretty free. And then the next 2 days, I'll be at AEW, preparing for a countdown. I think I got to film some stuff with Sting this week, and so yeah, that's all fun. And just to plug some stuff real quick. So
go ahead.
Check out Sunny Days on Pro Wrestling Tees and get yourself a T-shirt, and then all the social medias, Sunny Days SHW. So
I'll have it all. I'll have it all up. Check out IWTV Southern Honor.
Yeah,
I'm not just saying this because Dylan's here.
And the new one just dropped today. So
yeah, oh yeah, they put on a fantastic show. The production value is like really top notch. Great wrestling. I love it. I knew about it before Spencer Cantor had mentioned something. I just stumbled upon it, maybe in the summertime, and it's been amazing. So you guys are doing a great job, and thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, you take care, stay healthy, and we'll get you on again to talk about Sunny Days.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Oh, my pleasure. You take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.